the Center for Black Development Options Canada is a Black-led organization that is purposed to sort of capacitate, Black immigrants as well as refugees in Canada to sort of have a voice and also to contribute to policy making in this great country.
Center for Black Development Options Canada, CBDOC, works to ensure that Black immigrants and refugees live dignified and productive lives in Canada.
Our mandate is creating an unparalleled opportunity to work with Black migrants so that they can live and thrive in Canada.
CBDOC comes at a point where we felt that as immigrants, as refugees, as Black people generally, we have great potential, but sometimes this potential has not been tapped.
Organization has a niche of research-based research, but basically policy outreaches and research and education and learning. So the reason why we thought that CBDOC should come right now, because the Black people or the Black immigrants and refugees need to be included into this kind of policy conversation.
One of the ways that Center for Black Development Options Canada is being an icebreaker or creating change in the policy environment in Canada here is the Policy Think Tank. It is a project that seeks to do some research in the areas of policy so that we can have the policymakers come up with recommendations that fit or that are acceptable or that are convenient to Black people.
CBDOC comes at a point in time where we see a critical need to involve Black people, especially in the programming and services that are targeted towards them. We've seen of late an influx of so many people coming to Canada, but without clear policy guidelines on how to accommodate and integrate them into the Canadian system.
The Black people or the Black immigrants and refugees need to be included into this kind of policy conversation. For example, if we are talking about housing, get you as a Black immigrant or refugee, it's very hard for you to get housing. The landlord or the landlady will ask you, or the property manager will ask you for, let's say, credit score, which you don't have because first of all, you're not working, you don't have a work permit, you're not allowed illegally to work in Canada. So it becomes a bit challenging, and we find it a bit systematic. So we feel like why CBDOC should come on board to try to address this is to try and work with these Black immigrants to understand their challenges, and then we provide alternatives.
And in our research, especially during the housing crisis that we had a few weeks ago, where we saw we saw terrible situations where we had very vulnerable people. For instance, as a woman, I speak about the pregnant women who are sleeping on the streets and not having where to put their heads, or not even having medical attention in their vulnerability. As CBDOC, we managed to direct them to resources where they could be helped. But this could only be achieved out of the policy think tank that we have in place, because when minds come together, we are able to brainstorm, and once we brainstorm, we are able to do research, and this research informs the policies or informs the change that we want to see amongst the Black people, especially the refugees at such a time as this.
CBDOC has been involved in a number of initiatives. I would actually mention that recently we had the housing crisis, and we've been at the forefront of providing relief services to most of the newcomers, and majority have actually been Black immigrants and refugees. So we've been able to offer support, we've been able to offer compassion, we've been able to talk to them, we've been able to explain the different legal processes that they have to undertake to make sure that they are able to kind of get they get settled in quickly. We've been able to give handouts like winter and summer clothing, food. We've been able to to extend that sort of service, but also linking them to different service points. The other initiative that we are incubating at the moment is the Black Think Tank for Development Alternatives, which is an initiative of CBDOC to ensure that we do have we capacitate especially internationally educated professionals. We need to recognize that majority of immigrants come with experience from abroad, wherever they are coming from. Most of them actually have degrees, have masters, have PhDs, but sometimes we do not recognize that sort of experience.
Apparently, as I speak, we are actually working on a strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan, and of course it will be renewable after 5 years. But the first 5 years, one of the things that we are looking at is to address the three underlying challenges that I've told you about: housing, employment, and work, as far as immigrants are concerned. So in 5 years, we believe that CBDOC will be having cohorts of one of the activities that we have. We have a think tank, the Black Think Tank for Alternatives. That think tank, as we are working with immigrants as participants, is to have like-minded people that are going to create solutions to these challenges that we see.
CBDOC in 5 years, I can say that will be a game changer in the policy issues of this country of Canada. Black people for a long time, Black people have contributed so much to development. Right from the time of slavery up to now, Black people are that force that have contributed so much, but oftentimes their impact is not felt. Their impact is not, is not very much, I would say, for lack of a better word, given the credit that it deserves. CBDOC at such a time as this wants to make the efforts of the Black people, their productivity should count. It should be spoken of. It should be out there for people to know that if the developed world such as Canada, if the G7 is growing as it is growing, then Black people are part of the growth. Black people are out there to benefit from the effort that they have put in the development, the development of a country such as this.